The political history of Malawi is pretty short. The colonial system, one-party system, and now the multi-party system of government. Human beings are known to always strive to make their lives better, more comfortable, happier. This is why we find ourselves where we are, in an effort to better govern ourselves. The cardinal question is this what is happening now? Are we governing ourselves better than we did 23 years ago? Indeed, are we better off than we were when the colonial masters were in charge of affairs? Dear friends, we are gathered here to discuss this and more matters in relation to democracy and change. My name is Joab Chakhaza, and I'm joined by three panelists. Clement Makua is a young, passionate young politician who has been leading the Young Politicians Union from district level and is now its national director. Mr. Chisomo Mdala is a Lilongwe resident working in development communication, an entrepreneur, researcher, poet, and a keen follower of current affairs. Ms. Tembi Tadzi, who by age of 25 was already working as youth advisor to the late President Bingu Mutharika. She was chairperson of National Youth Council and currently works with Girl Effect as a youth and network specialist. Also joining the discussion will be a live audience we have here at Atbridge Center. There are different types of people. The true character of a person comes out when they are suffering from oppression. While some suffer in silence and keep hoping that things will change, some choose to talk about it. So they rant, they write, and they talk, but it ends there. It's the third type that we want to talk about, the type that is ready to take action, go out and meet the oppressor to either negotiate or indeed force them to change. Some lose their lives in the process, and that's why we have martyrs. But how have things been in Malawi since we embraced democracy in 1994? Are Malawians happier now? Are things better now? Are we proud of the political leaders we have chosen through the democratic processes? Most importantly, what power do we have as citizens to change things we are not happy with now? I will now invite my panel to set the ball rolling by telling us what they think, if democracy is a blessing or a curse for Malawi. We'll start with Mr. Clement Makua.
Okay, thank you. Is democracy a blessing or a curse? I think to me, I will answer those in two dimensions. It's a blessing because one, we have human rights. I think you will agree with me that now people are enjoying the full rights in terms of from free movements, formation of groups, organizations, and other rights that are there. On the other hand, it's a case because economically we have the economy which is has no have no value, right? Because you agree with me that we have had cases where men are being kept in the houses, in the ceilings, and in boots of the cars. So in that kind of perspective, I think the economy becomes passive. It doesn't secrete within the human beings and within the human activities. So I think on the other hand, I can say it's a case economically.
So you think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time?
Yes.
Well, I wish you chose which one it is, because it can't be a blessing and a curse at the same time. I don't know if Mr. Chisomo Mdala will have a different perspective. Do you think it's a blessing or a curse?
I have a different perspective, obviously, and for me, I think it's neither a curse nor a blessing, because democracy is a system, and as it goes, systems are only as good as the people who are within that system, who embrace that system. So maybe the question would be, as Malawians 23 years down the line, what do we want our democracy to be? Do we want it to be a blessing? Do we want it to be a curse? Because if we say it's a curse, what does that say of where we're coming from? From dictatorship. What does it talk about colonialism? Was colonialism a good system for our people back then? Was a dictatorship good for us? Now, democracy in itself, I would say, if on the balance of it, I would say it is a blessing. But how much it is our blessing is something that we need to work on.
My question would be 23 years down the line,
Mhm.
what have we chosen as a people? Have we chosen it to be a blessing, or we have chosen it to be a curse? You say the system is just as good as the people who are in it.
Mhm.
So the people who are in Malawi, what have we made of our democracy? What kind of democracy have we created? Is it a blessing or a curse?
We obviously chose it because it was a better system, but democracy, I look at it as a living organism. If you feed it, it's going to grow. If you don't feed it, it's going to get malnourished. And this is where we are. Maybe we need to rethink, did we embrace democracy as a one-off affair? Okay, we now embrace democracy. Then democracy will move on its own without us putting in the efforts, without us strengthening the institutions that will uphold democracy as a system that we embraced as a good thing, as compared to the dictatorship that we're under in 30 years' time. So from that historical perspective, I still believe that democracy was a good thing. It's given us rights.
Okay. All right. Well, we will get to talk more about that. Definitely. There are more things I would like to unpack from this question. Let me give Tembitaz an opportunity to tell us what she thinks about democracy in Malawi. We have enjoyed democracy for 23 good years now. Do you think it's a blessing or a curse?
Democracy is a blessing, but in Malawi, democracy has been a curse. 23 years ago, I was very young, but based on the literature that I've read, people were so much happier than what they are today. People were able to access services, free services, better than how they're doing right now. Of course, I would say from the literature that I've read 23 years ago, there were limitations. So I'm saying it's a case because of the way things are operating. Also based on the book that I read a year ago on Date Aid, I believe that in Malawi, I think we need a dictator. We haven't reached that stage where we are able to really embrace democracy. I'm glad that we have Billy Maya today. In Malawi, when you talk about democracy, you look at Billy because he's been a freedom fighter. And we have we look at him when something has happened, we wait for him to react. We wait for him to do something while we're passive. So I think we're not ready right now as Malawians to embrace democracy per se. I think we need to understand this concept very well. Mm-hmm. And then we still have, we still need to give it time for us to understand the concept of democracy. Because for me, if you ask me about democracy in Malawi, we're not yet there. We talk about it on social media, but how much have we embraced democracy? So to me, democracy has been a curse in Malawi.
Well, that's our take. Some are not committal. They're like, oh, it's a blessing, it's a curse. I don't know, it's a mixture of everything. Some are saying it's a question of what we want to make it to be. She thinks it's been a curse. She thinks people were happier then than they are now. And I would like our audience here to give us their take. I want you to compare the Malawian before democracy and after democracy, especially in how the Malawian is able to shape the direction of the future of the country. Before democracy and after democracy, what do you think? Do you think the Malawian is now better enabled to shape the destiny of their country, or you think it was better back then? And now open it up to the audience. Someone already has okay. Someone would like to give in their first thought.
Yeah, I think democracy.
If you can kindly introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Billy Maya. I'd like to start by saying that democracy is a blessing, but I think the practice of democracy in Malawi is a curse. Many local scholars have noted that in 1994 there was transition without transformation, and the transformation of the people's thinking, people's practices and behaviors have not changed. We are still locked in the one-party mode where we expect political leaders to bring about change in Malawi. That will never happen unless we actively engage in the political process. As long as we sit passively, the democracy will then become a curse, quote unquote.
kuti bwanji ndifuna tione kuti Malawi amene analipo tisanalowe ulamuliro wa democracy ndi Malawi amene alipo panopo, chifukwa democracy imatiuza kunena kuti anthu akupatsidwa mphamvu yoti asankhe atsogoleri komanso azitha kupereka maganizo pamene dziko liyenera kuyendera kuti litukuke, kuti anthu akhale moyo osangalala. Tsopano funso ndira kuti zimenezo zikuchitika panopo kapena bora nikalero lomwe lija.
Ndalamkhule nchichewa. Dzina langa ndine Brian Damba. Choyambirira ndinene kuti Amalawi sakutenga mbali poyang'anira kuti dziko lawo liziyenda bwanji kapena liyende bwanji. Ngati alipo amene akutenga mbali ndi ochepa amene ali kumaudindo kutsogolo kwa zinthu. Koma Malawi weniweni amene ali kumudzi amene tikumutcha kuti ndiye mwini dziko sakutenga mbali kwenikweni. Mukandifunsa kuti kodi kale ndi pano Malawiyo wapindulanji, ine nkhali ndili mwanako koma tizaka ndili nato, koma I think kale linali bwino. Chifukwa choti pali zinthu zina zimene ngakhale Malawiyo samadziwa kuti ndi ufulu wake kuti adzilandire, atsogolera mathawu dziwa kuti ndi udindo kuti zimene zizikampeze Malawi. Pamene masiku ano zimakhala ngati kuti akukuchitira favor pa chizungu kapena kuti kukupatsa zinthu zimene sukuyenera kulandira. Malawi yonse osadziwa kuti chinthu chimene akufuna kulandiracho ndi ufulu wake kuti achilandire, akapatsidwa nkumaombera mmanja kuti awasinza wayiwala ifo andipatsako nsewu kwathu kuno. Mupaona pamenepo mpaka nkumaganiza kuti ndikapanda kuavotera amene wapa masankho ndi kuti mwina nsewu sinza ulandire. Pamene Malawiyo ndi ufulu wake kuti alandire nsewu kwawoko kopanda kuti kukhaniza kuti wangopatsidwa. Misonkho yache zimene akuchita zikumpatsa ufulu olandira msewu. Ndiye mukandifunsa kuti kodi tiutenga mbali, ayi sitiutenga mbali kwenikweni. Chifukwa Amalawi amanena kuti democracy imanena kuti mphamvu ku anthu. Koma anthu panopo mphamvuzo alibe kapena sakudziwa kuti ali nazo.
Let's quiz this one a bit more. Some people, including Malawians, allege that Malawians are a very passive people. They say we don't take control of things, and she did indicate that not everybody, but a lot of people look at Billy and say, what is Billy going to do now? I mean, somebody's got to do something. Let me start with the panel, and then I'll go to this side. What's your take? Do you think Malawians are a passive people? They are not actively taking part in running the affairs of this country? Tembi, let's start with you. What do you think?
Yeah, we are a very passive nation. Sometimes I think that maybe because we haven't had war.
Oh my God!
Maybe.
Good. Let's pack that one. We'll have to come back to that. Yes, let's continue.
It's sad, but sometimes it makes me feel like that. Cause, for example, like I said, sometimes it makes me feel so sad. Like today, people were protesting. They were not protesting for their own tummies or their own kids. It's for the pride of Malawians. But look at the numbers who turned up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that we don't feel the pinch of how the economy is or how the leadership is, the bad leadership that is in this country. But we wait for Billy to do it for us. We wait for John Kabila to say something. And yet, we are the ones suffering. So we're a very passive nation, very passive. We wait for Billy and John Kabila all the times to change things for us. And therefore, when they don't speak, when they don't organize something, everybody's going to fold their hands.
Well, it's interesting that you talk about wars. Let's look at Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, Mozambique. Are they in a better governed because they've had wars?
Maybe let's look at Rwanda.
Let's leave the others and let's look at Rwanda. What is the other thing? Chisomo.
Let me start with that. We cannot wish for war. Actually, we have to be thankful for what we have.
Yes.
And the histories of countries are different. But what is lacking is that we have not, like Billy said, we just changed, but we did not transform. We just adopted democracy. Maybe we're excited. Maybe we're in a pressure cooker as it were. So after 30 years, we wanted something new. We wanted to do away with the despotic rule that we had for the past 30 years. Then we had to embrace democracy. But my theory is, after we embraced democracy, we still needed to have systems. We still needed to have institutions that would feed into the democracy that we adopted. But now, what I saw was a systematic muffling of the systems that would encourage or that would promote the growth of democracy. I would say in 2001, for me, I think it was a watershed year. I was a first-year student in the university. Before that time, before that December of 2001, I would see students. They would demonstrate, not just demonstrating for their allowances. No, they were demonstrating for national issues. And before that December of 2001, you remember 2001, it should be 2002 if I'm not mistaken. Tinalibe chakuja chokwanira ndziko muno. And panala anthu amene anachita demonstrate, and anthu awawa sanadalire who we call maybe human rights defenders as it were. Kutyolo anthu anapanga demonstrate. Kuzomba anthu anapanga demonstrate. And ma demonstration amene anachitika kuzomba mpaka na ma students anakajoina. And these were ordinary people who demonstrated against the government to having sold maize to Kenya when Malawi was reading Bahanga. Anali anthu. Koma chimene chinachitika 2001 ndichokuti patachitika ma demonstrations amene aja polisi ino imene ili institution imene kwa ine ndikuona kuti inali imodzi mwa institution imene ikanachita uphold democracy imene tinachita embrace inakapha student. And then the culture of demonstration in Malawi has never been the same. And then let's throw it back to, okay, let's push it ahead to 2011. People demonstrated. What happened?
20 July, is that what you're talking about?
Yes, 20 July of, I think that was 2011 if I'm not mistaken. What happened? People were killed. As a result, they would constrict the space in which democracy has to be expressed by individuals. Now, my institutions ngati amene wawa ndi amene police inayenera kuti iyo ijesungise bata, protecting not only the interests of the politicians but protecting the interests of these people, because unena kuti democracy as a system is a system by the people for the people. Eti koma when you have now the police flagrantly showing that they are towing the line of a politician, you are killing democracy.
You're killing democracy. We don't want democracy dead. I think we can't kill it. It's too early to kill it. I want you to come in quickly about why you think Malawians are passive. And I would like to challenge the audience to quiz further the idea kuti mwina kunogo kudzapulika kayonga. And at that time, isaphulika kunoira anthu amabereka mbuzi, amabereka miphika yenyemba and things like that. But I want us to really soberly discuss that. Is it that we need something to shake us up into action, and could that something, God forbid, be a war? Is that what we want? Why do you think Malawians are passive? I think it's a generally acceptable fact now. Everybody seems to agree to that. We don't really actively participate in matters that affect our country. Yeah, you're right. Really, I think Malawians are passive. I think after democracy came in, our emphasis has been on rights. So everybody ran to grab rights. But I think two aspects were missing, and that's, I think, what is contributing to our passiveness. That's duties and the responsibility. We didn't grab much on that. And I think those people that were selling out democracy, they focused much on the rights of the people, individuals. So people ran away to grab individual rights, not collective rights. Maybe tibwere kunthawi muso mukuzana kuzonena kuti munthu ukaona chita chake chikuchitika pa skulu kandi munthu angozungulira nthawi usiku mudzi matha kumemesana noti pabwera munthu wokuba, right? So people had that collective rights and responsibility over chilichonse chimene nchaboma, right? Munthu akakhala kumanga nyumba mwazizizi moti ndama saka ndisakukhulupirira kuti amene ndama wazitenga kuti ndi mmene kapezedwe kachimakaliri anthu amabwera amamemezana ndukauza mayangi pioneer ndikubwera zamugwira munthu uja kumanga ndikamufusa akafotokoze kuti chuma achitenga kuti chimene amanga. So ndikozonena kuti panopa ndi kumbuyo kumene nthawi yakamuso people had duties and responsibility nthawi yakamuso kapena before matipate pamene tabwera kunoko people have dropped down duties and responsibility and we have grabbed on your rights. Pamene baba, let me cross to this side. Why? What happened? We used to be that people. Now we are a different kind of people. And let's have the microphone to the back. What's your understanding of what happened?
My name is Chimemanyoza. I would like to take us back, I think, on that topic. One of the things that I feel we're not touching on is the residue effect of the colonial period, and also the single party system that we had with Kamuzu Banda. The understanding that once we embrace democracy, then we have to kick a switch and every Malawian's mind is going to change. But the reality is, with what you have even said here, you're talking about a rise of an elite activist group that, to me, has not yet transferred that anger or that level of understanding when it comes to duties and responsibilities to the ordinary citizenry. So because they are moving up in their understanding and they believe that everybody has rights, they assume that everybody also who is down there, like in the rural areas, must have the same power. Yes, we have the same power, we have the agency, but it also has to trickle down to the people. So why are Malawians passive? It's because there's that residue effect of the colonial period, and someone that rightly pointed out that there's people that are killed. At the end, when you suffer alone. And everybody now is just handling their business and let this country go as it is. So because of that, it's not really that people don't care about this country. But first of all, they also look at themselves and their security and their family and their responsibilities, which to me is also something which is important. Do you die for a country and then leave your wife and then leave your kids and everything? Is that being responsible? So there are all those questions that come. Do you put your family first? Do you put your country first? Do you put your society first? And at the end, people are making decisions based on which area they find to be important.
Well, she believes that we needed a war to shake us up. Well, not that we need one, but probably if we have one.
The issue is you can't raise a collective a collective group. That's my understanding. You have 17 million Malawians at the moment. You can't expect all of them to be angry at the same time. Obviously, there will be some people that are going to be angry, that are going to lead. There will be some people that are going to be passive, because our change process has been gradual, and because of that effect as well. Let's also remember that during the one-party system, we had people that benefited from the one-party system. They are still loyal to the one-party system, and they still believe that that system was the most effective system that we have. So already we are a divided nation, and our ways of processing things, to me, that is what makes us to be passive, if I would say. Thank you.
Things are happening in our country. We don't want to take action. We actually expect other people to take action on our behalf. But we don't want to be the first ones to step forward.
Okay, zina langa ndine Dan Nyundo. Ndikufuna ndigwirizana maoti Malawians are passive. But I wanted us to reflect kunena kuti my demonstrations achitika mbiri. But you look at it, okay, after kupanga demonstrate, amene tikuwapempha kuti aone zinthu zimene tikufuna zitasintha. Akumapanga bwanji. Are they responding to the issue? So sometimes maybe Malawians feel like, all ndikapanga demonstrate. I mean, what is it? Right? The likes of Bida will go in the street, want this, but nothing happens. So it also borders the leadership. Okay, after people are trying to demand what is good for them, what is the reaction that they get from the leadership or from the government? So maybe kusalandira zimene tikufuna through the rising up demonstrations is also making people to be more passive, in addition to Manta Minali na want maybe.
Manta, titapasa kujogera patsogolo apa. Pamene mukuyankhula mafuna kuti ma leaders tikuwapempha kuti asinthe. Zinthu izi zili bwino tatikonzerani ifeyo anthu wamba chichewa chake. Ifeyo anthu wamba tatikonzerani. Well, the leaders, they don't want to change because the system is benefiting them. So even though you demonstrate and you tell them to change, they will not change because they are benefiting from the system. Now, what does democracy say in that instance where the majority rise up and say, we want things to change, and the leaders who are holding the key to that change say, well, you ain't getting any change. Actually, this is the key and I'm putting it in my pocket. What do you do?
Ndemwina ndikangati ndikugwirizana ndi tempi zankhondo koma nkhondo yake mwina tisanene yawo ngayi
osati kuphulitsa maboko
tilakwitsa koma nkhondo yake yoti tipange dismantle establishment, the political establishment. You are right by your observation which you've made. because what I'm beginning to think pali nyimbo imene anaimba Bob Banda, I think imanipatsa phunziro amati tili nazo zinthu zotiyenereza koma kuzigwiritsa ntchito sitimatha. Zabwino tinazo koma kuzigwiritsa ntchito sitimatha. To say democracy, whether it's a case or not, I would say it's a blessing because inatibweretsera ma institution amene akuzothandizira kuti democracy ija tiyendetse bwino. Koma no zinthu zimene zigwiritsa ntchito. Now I'll say that in relation to elections. My elections, they bring about two things to any leadership. They bring about mandate and they bring about legitimacy. Chilolezo chotena kuti iniyo takusankhani na amene muyendetse dziko mandate. Komanso iniyo ndinovomerezeka aliyense avomereze kunena kuti iniyo ndi amene muyendetse dziko. Zinthu ziwiri zimenezo almost my elections zonse amene tapanga kuyambira democracy started. Zikuoneka ngati mandate imeneyo ndi legitimacy simoneka bwinobwino. What happens? In the process, they start to establish a political establishment. So to that effect, I would say as opposed to say Malawians are passive, I would say Malawians are frustrated.
Okay.
Because no matter how many demonstrations Billy will stage, there'll be no change. So that's the frustration which we need to dismantle. They conduct Tembich.
I want we need to get into a war, but not Zoma Umbirana, but we need to dismantle the establishment. Well, this is something that I've heard before. Going against the establishment, trying to dismantle things and bring them back. We'll be back. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. We're having a healthy discussion on whether democracy is a blessing or a curse for Malawi. Different ideas coming through from our panelists. We've got Clement Makua, Chisomo Ndala, and Tembi Tadzi. We also have a live audience here at Adbridge Center in Lilongwe. We're continuing with the discussion, but most importantly, we're trying to find out why Malawi is the way it is. And I'm trying to avoid mentioning the word passive here because it's rather annoying, but it looks like it's the truth. People have accused us, we have accused ourselves of not doing enough to bring about change. And we're trying to understand why things are like that. Some are saying it's a hangover effect from the autocratic rule that we had, and some think we need a little shake-up. But the question is, how do we bring about this shake-up? I would like to get 2 or 3 more views from the audience before we move on to our next topic. And looks like you're raring to go. Tell us your views. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've got a burning issue with Malawians.
Yes.
Someone mentioned from our panelists to say because the police, the government, are kind of threatening Malawians when they want to speak out. And as a result, they don't go to ask what they want. Someone said, because nothing happens, even if they go and demonstrate, they gather and talk against something that government is not doing good, nothing happens, nothing changes. Now, I want to say this. Nkhondo imene tikuifunai, mwina ku Malawi kuno zizafikepo nena kuti chipani china chake cholamula kapena mtsogoleri wachotsedwa. Akazachotsedwa ndi Amalawi pampando. Mwina adzayamba onena Amalawi sopano ali ndi mphamvu atha kuti chotsanatika pano ndiwo. Koma atsogoleri tikayika pampando, they don't care about the citizen. What they care about is their interests. They don't care whether you don't get good medication, you don't have good education system. What they care about if they are kulamulira zathu zikuyenda.
It's our time to eat, as
yes,
they say.
Yes. So Amalawi akazafika ponena kuti uyuyu achoke kumuchotsadi tizayamba kuona ma results. Mwachitsanzo ndifuna ndingonena ku chitsanzo chimodzi. Ku parliament nthawi ina kunayikidwa bill yonena kuti pamene boma kapena site ikamagulitsa malo mtown, akufuna malo ndi anthu angapo, akunja awiri Malawi mmodzi akufuna malo omwewo. dziko liyike malamulo onena kuti Malawi ndi adzikhala opasidwa danga loyamba to get that place or to buy that plot in town. So because it came from the opposition party, the government side refused it. But to me, kuyika lamulo limene linde kuti likufuna lithandize Malawi. Anthu amene ali ku parliament nda Malawi. Ma MP olamulawo ali ndi abale yawo a Malawi. Akapereka mpata onena kuti tikamagulitsa malo tisanapatse anthu okunja obwera tiganizire kayi Malawi zikupindulira tonse a Malawi ndi abale yawo omwe. Koma chifukwa tizachoka ku chipani chotsutsa ine singavomere. Ndetu khanga tikupikisana and we are not developing the country that way.
It's a vicious cycle. You're talking about leaders from what you're saying.
Yes.
That leaders are not doing enough to respect the decisions that their people are making. But people say,
because they are feared so much.
People say these leaders are coming from the same society. So they say this leadership that we have as a country at any point in time is a reflection of us as a country, us as a people, because we don't go and import leaders from anywhere. These people come, we have been to school with them, we know them, they are our friends, we call them every day. So probably it's not about them, maybe the whole system, maybe the whole country, something must be wrong.
There was a say, which was said by the Speaker of Parliament, to say praising too much of leaders is not helping us, it must stop. Anthu aja kamakatenga udindo uja makhalala bwino bwino. Koma akangotenga udindo uja timayamba kwa chita treating ngati ndi mulungu ndiwa kwapatsa ulemu wakulu kwaopa ndiwa jama filadi kuti ine ndiwadzimphamvu.
Thanks, well explained. I saw you raise the hand. I'm sure that's what you wanted to say.
Precisely, because there's a book or there's an article which was written by Alan Intat. I think it's a good response. It's called Trappings of Power.
Okay.
And what it does is that now. But the moment we get them the vote, everything changes about them. So I don't know. How do I get that to there's the structure, the establishment that I referred to that we need to dismantle.
Okay.
It's the trappings that actually give these people the mentality to be what they are.
Let's get on with the discussion, and let me go back to my panel and try to take this discussion to another level. When you look at Malawi as a country, the socio-economic status of the people, I mean, it's not a secret that we are ranked as one of the poorest countries in the world, not in sub-Saharan Africa, not in Africa, in the whole world. Now, here is a people that is poor, that is quite illiterate, and you say, we are bringing you this system called democracy. So you have to elect your own leaders and you have to empower them for this particular period of time. And when things are not working, this is what you do. My question is democracy a system that can work for a country like Malawi, looking at the high illiteracy levels and the high poverty levels? Let's start with Clement.
Yeah, I think it can work.
It can work.
Yeah, it can work better. We have systems and we have strategies that we can use for democracy to work. And actually, I think by now you agree with me that we have systems that are better than other systems in terms of governance across Africa. I recall one time talking to one Rwandese who said our governance system were adopted from Malawi. But if you look at how Rwanda is doing in terms of using the same governance structures that we are using now, mafumu, ADC, VDC, kumagura mpaka council.
The local government system.
Yes, and that way they are doing much better than the way we are doing it. So we have the system already that it can work better. But I think the people, as ODS said, the people within the system that are managing the system, that could have made the system to work better, they are the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I think kwa kukulu tinene kuti anthu awawa maudindo kapena udindo nawonso ngati atsogoleri auchotsa pa iwowo. So sakuzindikiranso kuti iwo they have the duty and the responsibility over us ngati anthu komanso over the whole governance system, right? Ndichifanya mwina padaka pali kuzona kuti zinthu sizikuyenda bwino kuti iwo ngati adindonso pena pake ayiwala udindo wawo.
Let me throw it back kwa anthu amene mukwane nawo kunena kuti they're okay and you say the systems can work. My question is, take someone who is very hungry and very poor and give that person an opportunity to vote for somebody. Aganizira jana aziganizira kuti munthu uyuyu ndimuvotera ifo choti adzakuyendetsa bwino dziko adzapanga zakuti kapena angodikira kuti munthu amene wampatsa.
That's why I wanted to come. Ndimabwera kunena kuti nthawi imene timapanga pronounce democracy, I think we dwelled much again on issues to do with regionalism. Now it is that fact zimene zopangisa kunena kuti anthu unosopano tikafika nthawi yona kuti as citizens our duty to elect them or to choose who to lead us in the next 5 years sitikumayang'ana nkhani za udindo imene iwo ngatasogolera tikuwapatsa, tikumayang'ana za kuti uyu yachokera kuti ndipo azandipangira chani.
Chifukwa chani tikuyang'ana zimenezi?
Tikuyang'ana zimene chifukwa chino kuti sinapange anthu aja sensitize ndi kuwapanga engage mokwanira kuti athe kumvetsetsa kuti kodi concept ya democracy imatanthauzanji pa munthu ina aliyense ngati nzika, imatanthauzanji pa munthu ina aliyense ngati mdindo, imatanthauzanji chani kwa munthu ina aliyense ngati mwini dziko.
So you think it's not about the people, it's about how we have introduced the concept of democracy.
Exactly.
Chabwino chisomo nkhani imene kuiona bwanji anthu osauka kumachita kunena kuti ife pa anthu osauka kwambiri dziko lapansi ife ndi number 1. Komanso illiteracy level is very high.
Yeah, I guess the construction of illiteracy, poverty, and wealth are things that can they are contentious because vanova sitinachite define kuti tikanena kuti literate ndi ndani chifukwa if I may go by statistics UNDP we are not worse off in terms of literacy levels.
People are able to read and write.
Yes. Actually, the last document I saw ku sub-Saharan Africa ko kaguno tinali nditu chapakati we are median.
Yeah.
Koma anthu ena onsewa amene munali mbuyo mutikagamba za economics akutiposa. Mukhoza kuyang'ana I'm a teacher by training. You would look at ma curriculum athu. Our curriculum ndi imene ili rich mwina ndikutenga ma message ngati amene wa democracy even from grade 1, grade 2. Zinthu zimene zija zili muti. Now tikagamba literacy levels kuti mwina zili low democracy. Yeah, but for me I find that to be contentious. What I believe is did I embrace democracy? We did not take stock of the elements of democracy that were pre-existent before we embrace democracy. Because democracy as a system, things do not exist in a discrete or quanta. So democracy and then there's no overlap with another system of government.
Okay.
There are things that they overlap. Ngati ku Botswana anakambapo chisanzo cha ku Rwanda kuti pali ma ADCs zimene anaphunzira kwa ife. Ku Botswana it's working because democracy was from the grassroots. And when they adopted democracy, they have a system they call Kotra. Even in zonse zokonza ka budget, this anafike at the national scale at the parliament. The village sits down and people's voices are heard from that level. Akamaka figure about district, the participation of the people has been so, it has been very inclusive.
Okay.
Akamaka figure at national level, zimezi jazma counties are included. Now, jimeni mafuna nene chakuti democracy tutitaitenga. We did not put in place an institution that would look into the health of the democracy. Otherwise, we only have ancillary institutions. Tirindi muna Anti-Corruption Bureau, we have the Malawi Human Rights Commission, we have the Malawi Law Commission, but the onsewa ali nditi kagao, but we don't have system emoji. We have a school of democracy that will look at the in terms of
Shouldn't
democracy.
that be the government doing that?
Sure, it has to be the government. And not just the government, government in the democratic dispensation. We have the opposition, we have the
ruling.
The ruling.
Chabwe.
Someone need to push those things.
Ndifuna ndivyojoka kwa tembi kuona bwanji mene dziko athu lilili kumbali ya economy komanso kuzindikira kwa anthu ena amaona kuti mwina democracy mwina mujomanene muja mwina pakungofunika anthu ena akanzeru kandi mmodzi kana koma anthu zanzeru zoopsa zoti zizikhala pansi. They think on our behalf. No. And they say they say this is good for our people and from now on, this is how we're going to be doing these things. Chifukwa kuti tikafuse anthuwa chimango kachipwirikiti kukuwana kutani we don't get anywhere. Do you think democracy can work in a country like Malawi with the kind of people that we are, the kind of socio-economic status that people have in our country?
Well, let me say with the current status of this nation, pajijewa palimao amanena kuti osauka libe mawa. So ndikuona kuti ndi mmene zinthu zilili. It's not something that I am proud to say, but ndifosauka. Ndiye ambiri mwa ife tilibe mawu atusamveka. Ndiye ndiona kuti democracy si kuthandiza. Democracy si kusintha zinthu. Fanya kuti Matafala anaimba nyimbo kuti mtendere sinsima edi. Komanso ndikuona kuti ngati mmene tili ku Malawi kuno kuti kayang'ana zaka za mbuyo pakumva zokumva zowerenga mmene zinthu zinalili mbuyo. Ngakhale kunalibe democracy koma ufulu unalipo. Anthu amatha kupeza zinthu munthawi yomwe akufuna. Panopa ndikuona kuti umphawi wakula kwambiri kusiyana ndi mmene zinalili mbuyo. Ndinena choncho chifukwa chakuti angakhale panopa munthu atha kupita kuchipatala osauka apita osowa nditero osowa apita kuchipatala cha boma koma kuyembekezera kuti akapeza thandizo lawo lero apita kumene kuja kamuza kuti mankhwala palibe koma tikulemberani mpite ku pharmacy mukagule munthu oti sangakwanise kugula. Koma tikawerenga tikamva mbuyomu 23 years ago sizimachitika anthu amatha kupita kuchipatala akalandira thandizo akuti nthawi imeneyo maministers anawo amaphunzira school ndi anthu wamba and amapeza maphunziro college education. These days sangamupitise mwana wa pachimutu primary akaphunzira chani ndi kuti akuyenera kupita ku KA akuyenera kuphunzira ku St Andrews chifukwa chani akudziwa zokuti maphunziro analo apasi amanena kuti analo apasi thandizo kuti poyamba kusangali apasi anali ndi tima. Yes, so ndiona kuti mwina mwake mmene dziko lathu lili panopa sizikugwira.
Titamva kuchokera kwa anthu amene ali uko and chifukwa cha nthawi ndingomva kuchokera kwa anthu mwina akuyika tiyambira apa kena kukumbuyo uko kuti kodi ndi mmene zinthu zilili mdziko muno kumbali ya umphawi wa anthu amene ali nawo komanso kuti kusukulu anthu amapita kangophunzira kulemba ndi kuwerenga zathera pomwepo. And I think we don't have to beat about the bush here. Anthu kuti amvetsetse kuti democracy ndi chani, ma institutions amagwira ntchito bwanji. It's not about just you knowing how to write your name. You really need to be able to understand very complex processes that take place. And as a country, I don't think we can stand on a hill and say, we cannot. So now, looking at what we have, with the material that we have, do we have enough to build a democracy?
Yes, I'm very confident, because if we use poverty as an excuse, I think we are misleading our listeners. But I think what we need to focus on is on the structure, the current structure of government in Malawi.
Have there been instances where this has worked before? I mean, ordinary people bring about change.
Yeah, I think in 1992, 93, 94 is the case in point, where people demanded their rights. But I think, as I said earlier, there was transition without transformation. And the transformation can only come about if we strengthen the system of local government. Historically, we've seen that presidents have been resistant to build on local government because they know it will empower the people and they will demand their rights because they'll be more involved in the processes. So I think to use poverty as an excuse is not right.
Let's hear from the young man there. What are your views? And I'll ask you to be as concise as you can because we are winding up now.
Okay, my name is Chilongamo Piri. The problem we have here in Malawi is that democracy, we mix it with politics. We think democracy is a politics and we prioritize everything. So by the time we move away from politics and government business, that's where the democracy is going to work. Government business should be government business, politics should be politics. They should be separated, they should not be one. Necessary politics. The politics in the politics is democracy, which is a very different thing.
So ndale ndipo
timaziphatikisa.
And you think if we separate the two, we are on our way to success?
Yes, they should be very different. Government should be government and politics should be politics.
Government should be government, politics. It sounds rather too academic. Someone to put it in a language that I can understand. Are you going to do that?
No. I'm going to talk about the operations of democracy and development.
Yes, please.
So I'm just going to talk about the excuse that because people are poor, therefore there have to be a certain elite that has to be making decisions on their part.
Do you agree to that?
I don't, because we have even tried with the local development fund, and we have ended up developing projects that end up not being owned by the communities. They are not maintained, and we have been wasting money because we were so centralizing development initiatives. And because of democracy, we are able now to promote participatory development. The people are involved, and most of the projects that have used that approach are now sustainable. The communities are able to develop those infrastructures, and the government is able to respond to the needs of the people. So to me, democracy provides that environment where development actually is supposed to work.
So you don't believe that there should be an elite squad that runs
The elite squad can be there, but the problem is, how are they going to know the needs of the people in the rural areas?
Okay.
There has to be a need. They have to tell you what they need, and then you have to respond to that need.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we're winding up now, and the question is democracy a blessing or a curse to Malawi? In winding up, let's look at where we are going as a country. And when we talk about where we're going, we talk about the youth, the young people themselves. These are, as they say, the leaders of tomorrow. And some will say, no, actually, we are the leaders of now. And that's another debatable issue. Are they actually leading now? Do they have the capability to lead now? Let's wind up by trying to look at whether the young crop that we have in Malawi is capable to bring transformational change to our country. Old people out there, are you confident that you can leave this country to these young people, and that you'll be confident and happy that everything is going to be okay? Our institutions are going to be fully functioning in the hands of these young people. Let's assess how the young people have demonstrated their willingness to bring about change. And let me take one or two views from the floor, and then I'll ask our panel to wind up. Have young people demonstrated that they're capable of taking part actively in shaping the destiny of our country? Are we doing enough?
Yes, we can say they are taking, because our vice president is also youth.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he doing the reform, it was very good.
Are you proud?
Yes, I'm proud.
You are happy?
Yes, I'm happy.
Do you think what he's doing represents what every young person is doing now, or it's just one example of somebody who does things differently?
Yes, we can say, because also we can give the example of the mayor for Branta, the first one, the former mayor.
The former mayor?
Yes.
No Charamanda.
Charamanda. He performed very well.
Okay.
So we can say the youth, they can perform.
Well, he's a happy young man beating his chest and saying, yes, we're doing it. Let's hear from the...
ine ndiyambira ndi pamwambi umene unaperekedwa ndi akuluakulu akale ananena kuti akuluakulu ndi dambo mozimira moto. I think that's where the wisdom of how we can move into the future should be, because akuluakulu angofunika akhale reference point. Why am I saying that? Our own national youth policy inapanga describe kuti wachinyamata ndi wodani. Adanena kuti he's creative, he's innovative, and then he's intuitive. It's the national policy mele abomana adatikazikitsira. Makolo anatumiza talk ku school, apita ku school. So we have new knowledge, we have new expertise. Good governance is about doing the right things at the right time. So I would think that at the moment we have the capacity as a country to be able to to put in place structures that are run, oriented by the youth, and then we establish the terrain that can actually propel this country into the future.
Let's not be theoretical here. Have the young people in Malawi demonstrated this capability, this innovation that you're talking about, this intuition that you're talking about? Have the young people demonstrated that?
Yes, yourself.
I mean, let's look at 20 to 30 or 35.
Yes, yourself, Joab. I would say that if you look at the older folks, they are being serviced by the younger generation in all spheres, whether in the legal fraternity, whether it's in the governance structures, whether it's media, all of those, there are youth at the back of them. So it's just a matter of saying, we now are ready to take over. Otherwise, I think we are prepared.
So you're confident in the young people of Malawi?
Very confident. He gave examples of
some outstanding young men that he thinks.
And one particular person that I would also want to mention is Aleke Banda. Aleke Banda is one guy who we should all emulate from. He studied politics and governance at a very tender age. What was good about him? So it's just a question of, have we given the youth the chance for them to actually exercise their brilliance. Thank you so
One
much.
quick comment from you. You raised your hand, and then I'd like my panel to give it a wrap.
I think yes, the youth do have potential, but I think right now they're learning from the West. You know, they're learning the West style of politics from the so-called elite. They still think that once I get into politics, I should drive a Porsche car. I should manipulate my constituency and so on and so forth. But I think the potential to change is there, as long as they are able to change the way things are run. Change the status quo.
Well, Tambi, you must be very excited because the people in this room seem to be confident that the young people are doing it right, and that probably 20 or 40 years from now, we could be singing a better song than we are now. Are you confident in the young people of Malawi? Do you think this is a crop that is showing clear signs of strong leadership, quality leadership, innovation, intuition, creativity?
Yes, I'm very confident. I think we've shown this so many times. I'm not going to repeat what others have already said, but so many things that have been done by young people, and they continue to do so many amazing things that maybe people deliberately choose not to recognize. Young people are coming up with funds to help other young people who are struggling or to pay school fees. That's a demonstration that we are capable of being leaders, but society is choosing not to recognize that. Also, just to say that even just as you can see here, the population of this country, the majority, more than half, are young people. So already shows that we have the capability, we have the power to change things. I think the challenge that we have as young people is we are waiting for someone to tell us that now is the time. But I've learned that power is never given. We have to go out and grab it. So we don't have to wait for Bide to say, you know what, guys, now is the time. We need to demonstrate. We need to go out there. The other challenge that we have as young people is that we work in isolation. So I want to be recognized as Tembi, who has done something. So he wants to be recognized as Chisomo, who is very good in something. We don't want to work together. And politicians are taking advantage of that. They are dividing us. They don't want us to work together because they know that once we begin to work together, we'll be so powerful that they will not be able to break us. We'll change things in that way. So until that time, we realize as young people that we need to start to work together and forget about politics, forget about where we're coming from, forget about the levels of education. But if we unite and work together, the energy that he has, that I have, if we put it together, we are going to change things. So I believe that young people have the power, and we have demonstrated that, and we continue to demonstrate that we can change things. The only thing that we have to do is to start working together.
Well, we are not clearly working together. The Youth Enterprise Development Fund is one good example that as young people, we don't want to work together. The fund, it just went haywire, but that's a discussion for another day. Let me go to Chisomo Ndala. How would you look at that? How would you look at the issue of young people and the kind of hope that we present for our country?
Yeah, like the previous speakers have said, we are the critical mass. We are who we have been waiting for. And again, we have historical examples of youth right here in this country who have done tremendous job in politics, not just in other fields, but in politics as well. So we cannot run out of examples which we can emulate. But like Tembi said, we need to go get it. We need to lobby. We've done lobbying for women on the gender aspect in terms of representation where it matters in parliament, in cabinet. We also need to do a lobbying for the 65% of the population of the country. That seriously, we don't want participation of the youth to be just talking. That okay, we will appoint youth to talk about issues of youth. No, we want to appoint youth to talk about issues of national importance, not just pertaining to what affects the youth. But the youth must be talking about education for everyone. The youth must be talking about the health of the nation because they have the capabilities. And again, like she said, I'll reference to that. We are doing other things elsewhere as clusters. Let's join together. Let's not work outside of politics chimene chakula nchiona kuti achinyamataso timati idzidzi nzaakuluakulu zikalowa ndale timati nzaakuluakulu koma kumene kujako ndiye kuli msuzi umene ngati ife tikuvutika ngati achinyamata kuti democracy is short changing us ife yonena kuti kuli msuzi kuja ife tikulambala lako. Let's go out there, let's lobby our friends. Vanopa we talking of this is 2017. We have a full year, kenaka 2019. Achinyamata tadzukani and hadione kuti okay ine ndifuna ndiimire ndizaimire constituency yakuti. We do networks. Then we start involving people. We have the energy. We have ages on our side. Let's go out there. Let's involve each other. Even achinyamata amene ali mmusio. Let's empower each other. Let's affect the kind of thinking that we want to achieve as youth. Tivide patsogolo.
Akuti tipite mwe kuli msuziko. Tiponyere kwa kuyako. Clement.
Yes.
What would you say? I mean, you have been with Young Politicians Union for quite a while, and this is not necessarily a political discussion. We are trying to look at all spheres of life. Democracy, politics is just one of them. But would you say the young people of Malawi present hope for the country? Have we demonstrated that?
Yeah, probably they have demonstrated that.
Okay.
And I think I would want to agree with everybody who has spoken about that. But I think as young people, we need to change our focus. You agree with me? I think in terms of political participation, a lot of young people shun politics. We have had young people that might think of contesting, but most of the time they put down. I think we have had activists, we have had politicians, we have had young people that are advocating issues of sexual reproductive health, issues of HIV and AIDS, issues of women empowerment. But I think in terms of young people that are strictly in politics, I think we are falling on that side. If you are going to get young people that are going to be strong enough and say, okay, I'm going to contest as a councillor, I think, from that time, we'll say, I think this is now our opportunity as young people to display that I think we can do it. As it is now, I think it's going to be very difficult for us, because I was reading an Afrobarometer report, which says out of 100 young people, 70 of them don't understand what politics is all about, don't understand what democracy is. Now, yes, we have had a lot of young people, a handful of young people that are interested in politics. But I think to penetrate into politics is becoming again a challenging thing, as other people have alluded to. We expect that I think come 2018 or 2017, mid-2017, we'll still get young people that are going to show interest to participate in politics. However, I think this issue of being passive still remains in me, and this is what is hurting democracy in Malawi, because it is that passiveness which has attracted politicians that are good at manipulating young people, right? So every game has its own rules and regulations. One of the rules and regulations within democracy is to make sure that we hold leaders accountable, but young people in Malawi are not interested to hold their leaders accountable. So the lack of adherence to democratic rules and regulations is what is accelerating a lot of malpractices in the governance sector.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And well, all good things must come to an end, and this is how we call it a wrap. But the question remains, is democracy a blessing or a curse for Malawi? I'm sure you can answer that question yourself. But as you do, allow me to sign out as I thank our panelists for availing themselves for this panel discussion, Mr. Clement Makua, Chisomo Ndala, and Tembi Tadzi. And of course, let me also thank the live audience here at Adbridge Center for being such a lovely group. My name is Joab Frank Chakhaza. Until next time, it's goodbye.